Darren Brady Nelson, Chief Economist at LibertyWorks. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to be chatting again, Darren, about an issue that we've spoken about quite a lot, and we had a previous podcast episode on inflation. So inflation continues to accelerate around the world, and we had a reading for the US the other day for January, if I remember correctly, and it's it's a 40-year high. So US inflation hit a 40-year high in January after food, electricity, and shelter drove a bigger than expected rise in the consumer price index and pushed financial markets to price in a higher chance the Federal Reserve will hike rates by 0.5 percentage points in just over a fortnight. So that's from Matthew Cranston, US correspondent for the Australian Financial Review. Now, Darren, this is something you've been expecting this, haven't you? You've been expecting inflation to continue to accelerate, even though some people have thought it may only be transitory. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if certainly one of the episodes that we spoke, we used a kind of a jumping off point was an article that I wrote for Town Hall. Essentially saying that it was also kind of because often in the mainstream media, there's from my perspective, they don't quite get inflation for the most part. There are exceptions, definitely. You mentioned Matthew Cranston from the Australian Financial Review, which, I quite like his work. But I think even better in terms of economics would be Adam Crichton. And I think you might also agree. And he's certainly someone in Australia, he's part of the mainstream media, and he's always been very good at, tying it back to, the most important factor, which is inflation of the money supply. There's a lot of factors that obviously can exacerbate that. And, in a market sense, obviously prices, are ultimately sort of responding to demand and supply situation. But, people like Adam Crichton and, myself and some others, we go a little bit deeper. Okay, well, right, demand. Okay, well, what's kind of driving a lot of what's going on in demand? That's where the money supply really comes in, because that's where the money balances are coming into people's possession, through various means. And that's, where you start getting, if you like, the demand pull side of inflation, more so than a sort of a supply push.
Yeah. And so this is because what we have is, what's the old saying about too much money chasing too few goods? Is that
that's about right. That's about, that's saying, that's a good, yeah.
I think that might be from Milton Friedman. I mean, we get so many great quotes about inflation and money.
Who's right? For the viewers, he's to the left of on the top screen there. So
yes. I think
warms my heart.